The objective of the build was to build a net zero, passive solar luxury home in energy-rich Calgary, Alberta. Did we achieve this objective? Yes and no. Will it last a long time? Yeah, it'll last 200, 300, 400 years. It's built out of concrete. Does the passive solar work? Absolutely. Is it a luxury home? Yeah. Is it net zero? No, it is not net zero. So, no solar panels. First of all, net zero. What does net zero mean? Net zero means that the house produces as much energy as it consumes. That is the definition of net zero. So to be net zero, we would have to put on 13.5 kilowatts of photovoltaic solar panels on the roof. Not a problem, we can do that, but I have two problems with that. One is we would have to give up our rooftop deck. I've got provisions for solar on the very top of the house, but I don't want to give up that rooftop deck. Hate to say it. And number two is, I hate to say it, but it's purely economics. We can spend the money to put the solar on the roof, but it would take 40 to 50 years for it to pay itself out. I'm just not willing to do that. A lot of people ask me who the builder was of this place, and we didn't use a builder. When we started out, I did not know any good builders at the time. And you know, to be truthful, do you want somebody to build the house that you and your family are going to be living in that is basically built by the lowest bidder? That's not my cup of tea. Who actually built the house? It was myself and one other guy typically. We would find guys that were completely dissatisfied with the construction industry. Well, first of all, they have to have skills. That's the main thing. And then two, they have to be completely dissatisfied with the construction industry. And they wanted to build something that they wanted to build right. Another thing people ask me is, how did I find my trades? There's a lot of people that have had really bad luck with trades. So every trade that came in the door, again, two criteria. They had to basically be a word of mouth referral. And number two, they had to have the willingness to show me what was right and what was wrong within their trade. And they would literally take me to a house and say, this is the way it should be done. And they would take me to another house and they would say, this is a crappy job and this is why this will fail. It is just so nice to have somebody that is proud of their trade and wants to do the right thing. This house does have some crazy stats. There's 14 tons of rebar. There's 100 cubic meters of concrete, 42 doors. We've got over 10 kilometers of cabling, 11 security cameras. The footings are 5 feet wide. It was an interesting, crazy fun build just because of the logistics and just the amount of stuff we had to put into the house. Again, a lot of people ask me, will I make money on this house? Geez, I hope so. But if we were here and if we built this place to maximize profit, I would have built out of wood. I would have built the most minimum code compliant structure possible. I would have put in the cheapest mechanical system possible. I would have put in just above mid-grade appliances, and I would fill the whole thing up with white lacquer sprayed MDF for finishing and do just a top-notch job on the finishing and sell it and make a lot of money. That's what 98% of all the builders do in inner city, well, and outer city too, probably. But this is not meant to make money. This was built for our living in it, and I wanted something that's going to last, and it will last. I think there was three big surprises with the house in completely different categories. The first one was the view. We knew that we used to live in a little house that was on this lot, and we knew we had a great view of the mountains from the main floor. But it wasn't until we built up to the third floor that we discovered it's like, wow, we've got over 180 degrees of horizon here. So we see the sun come up in the morning and we see it set at night, mostly in the winter. But it is absolutely amazing. The cool thing too is in the summer we can see yellow canola fields. Like, how many people can see canola fields from their inner city house? And then when you're looking at the mountains, We don't see the typical sea of gray that is typical of suburban developments. The Tsuut'ina Nation over there, those guys are fantastic because there's never going to be development there. You just look and you see green foothills, then you see mountains. You don't see the sea of gray. It's perfect. The second one is on a completely different note. Again, it is inner city. There is nuisance crimes. You know, there's people poking around. And strangely, it was just how efficient lighting was for security. We just have simple motion detection lights on the side of the house, and the lights come on and you'll see somebody coming in, the lights will come on, and then they just take off and go to another house, or they find a car that's unlocked. Third one is outdoor living. Between the multiple decks and the access between the kitchen and the main deck and the crazy garden backyard, most of our meals are spent outside in the summer, definitely lunch and dinner. It's like having an extra 1,000 square feet added onto the house. It's fantastic. What would we change on the house? Not much. The passive solar does not work great on the third floor. So passive solar, just think of it as a greenhouse. So you've got southern sunshine coming in, hitting the high mass concrete floors during the day, and then at night, all that heat that is stored in the high mass concrete floors from the sun shining on it radiates into the room. The third floor just isn't as effective as the main floor and the second floors for that, simply because of floor color. We never saw that one coming. The floor, it's a lighter color, and it's sort of a two-tone thing, and we love it, so we're not going to give that up, even in the name of efficiency. So what was the secret of the success of this project? Define success. A lot of people have said, it's like, oh, is it LEED certified? Is it Passive House certified? And it's like, I really don't care. Success to me is looking at the utility bills in the dead of winter. In February of 2019, I'm sure everybody remembers that in Calgary. It was this blisteringly cold month. And that was the very first time our utility bills, that's water, sewer, gas, electricity, garbage, everything combined, that's the first time it creeped over $300 a month. We're heating over 5,000 square feet in this place. I love it. Even when we were building it, we had no heat, but it was a lockup stage, so it was insulated, and we had all the triple pane in. And the temperature in January never dropped below 10 degrees. It was just amazing that it worked out that well. But there is no secret to the success. Research, it's thinking about it, it's finding the right guys who actually give a shit about what they're doing, it's putting the right technologies together and thinking about it. And a house it's like a car. There's a lot of different things going on, and you want to make sure that everything works together. So the big thing is understanding how all these systems work and making sure they complement each other as opposed to fighting them. I've seen houses fairly close to this one that the furnace and the air conditioning is on at the exact same time. That is poor design as far as I'm concerned, and nobody seems to care. This place, it's been thought over a lot, and it's just executed well, and it's worked out well. I'm super proud of it. The stat I'm most proud of probably is the blower door test. What is a blower door test? We had an independent energy audit done of the house, and part of that audit is a blower door test. The technician comes in, he puts this huge fan on the inside of the entrance door. And the whole idea, it has a big fan in it, and it seals about the outside of the door, and it sucks all the air out of the house. Well, it tries to suck all the air out of the house. So if you have any leaks, air will just try and come into the house. So he can measure how many air exchanges per hour are happening with your house. So think of that. That is the entire volume of air in your house, how many times it's exchanged every hour. Now, to give you some perspective, there was a study done in 2007 in Ontario where the average house in Ontario had 7.5 air exchanges per hour. So think about that. So every hour on a windy day, the entire volume of your house in air is changing out 7.5 times an hour. So the air comes in, you heat it, and then it goes away. The air comes in, you heat it, and it goes away. 7.5 times an hour. So I was pretty I was pretty happy with our result, and we spent a lot of time on making sure this place was tight. So we came up with a 0.17 air exchanges per hour, and that was the tightest house the technician had ever seen. So yeah, we were pretty happy with that. I was absolutely amazed at how much time it took to complete all the other projects after the structure was built. For example, we've got the 11 camera wired security system, figuring all that out, finding the best system and then actually putting it in with wires. I don't want to go wireless. Then there was the wired alarm system. There was building a fence that actually matches the construction style of the house or the feel of the house. So we ended up with like 8x8 cedar posts, $20 a linear foot. Figured that out. I got a lot of posts. What else was there? There's the living roof on the garage. That one was pretty good. That was only 4 hours, but it's time and money, and it just adds up. But it's just part of the process, and it's worth it. What do I like about the house? Man, where do I start? I like the fact there's no cold rooms, there's no drafty windows. When I shut the windows, like it's all triple pane. When you close a window and you seal it, it just drowns out. Well, you don't hear any city noises at all. I like the fact that we have, a heating system built by Wiesmann. Wiesmann is a German company, started in 1917. It's in the 4th generation of family ownership. In Germany, they still service all of their original products. So in 20 years' time, I'll be able to get parts for this thing. I like that it's gonna last 300-400 years. It's not a typical house. It's not a lipstick queen. What I really like is people saying, hey, did you get woken up by that big windstorm last night? And I'll say, what windstorm? I've never even heard this house move, shake, snap, crackle, pop, what have you. It's just an amazing experience to live in this house.